We're ready to roll. We're going to get started here. We're thrilled to have Coach Odom back. He was here last year with us. And, making time out of his schedule, the time at the beach and all that. And I will put in a plug for him. If you haven't heard his podcast on NABC, I can't tell you how to get there, but I figured it out myself. You can figure it out as well. They're really good things. So if you're up and down the road or whatever, I encourage you to tune into those. And thrilled to have you back. So long and more.
And more.
All yours, Coach.
Thank you. If I make this, we'll all go on. Oh, Jesus. Let me tell you a couple stories, and then I'm going to get to doing what I promised him I'd try to do. Go back 1 year to the day, a year ago. Finishing up the clinic like we are today. Am I the last one?
You are the last one. Last year you let us all.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, put me last. I'll be coming in from Wesleyan, I think, and it'll be easier for me, and yada, 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 yada. We did the clinic last year, or at least I did my portion of it last year. I got in the car, which I'll do today, and head right down there Mile, which I'll do today. I went away from here with a bad feeling. It was, as a matter of fact, all of you know Coach Matasnak coming in today. He was getting out of the car about the same time I was. He said, I thought I'd see you back. I said, I'm glad to see you back. I said, why that? He said, well, you know, I know you went away from here last year feeling you didn't do a very good job. He said, I want to tell you, you didn't. Really, I mean, you know, self-cleansing sometimes is really good. I mean, figuring out who you are, where you've been, what you've done, why you did it, why you didn't do what you should have done, all of those kind of things I think are really important. And so today is kind of a self-cleansing day for me. For last year was, you know, that was kind of muddied the water. Or as Kenny actually said, it wasn't your best day. He did say that. He said it wasn't your best day, and it wasn't. But you know, when you get to be my age, you've done whatever I've had a chance to do. You really don't need somebody to tell you the truth, but it helps to be able to vilify who you are if you hear the truth from somebody else. So, you know,
Coach, I have to say something else. Like Coach was talking about the NCAA rules about changing in college basketball, and obviously those things are really good. But Coach likes to coach.
Yeah.
So like being on the floor, I can tell you already now.
Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, we're back. At least for a day. I mean, the guy says, we already filmed this. I said it was a day when you couldn't. I'd have to ask him. But I don't care now. It's okay. Anyway, I did tell John if he'd bring me back 1 more year, I'd try to do a little bit better than I did last year. I am going to do a little bit better. I'm going to give you some things that are not sexy, if you will, from a basketball standpoint, but I'm going to give you some things that I know win. I know that it wins. Now I'm going to tell you first of all what I think's wrong with what you guys are doing today. First of all, you're too enamored with Kevin Durant and his 7-foot length in his arms and all that. You guys think you got to have guys who are, well, he's really good. I said, why is that? Because he's long, he's lean, he's got length, he can do all these things. Well, that's true. That's important. But it's not the only thing that, you know, kids today need to play the game. Because what happens is when you overload your team with guys who are, I don't know what your level is, but let's just say who are not postmen, but who can play out on the perimeter, they're 6'8", they can shoot the 3 and all that, you limit yourself if you don't have balance. I think we have to have balance in our lives, and I know you have to have balance in your team. You can't have it all one way. All right, now you say, Yeah, but Coach, gonna watch the Golden State Warriors tomorrow night. Tell me about their balance. I mean, they shoot threes. They don't play with the postman per se. You got Green, who floats in and out of the post right now. Boogie Cousins is on the bench where he needs to be. If he comes out, he'll screw him up. You can bet on that. But here's a team that's probably going to win the World Championship. And they don't play with a post guy. They, shall I say, they overcome that with one thing: number of possessions in the game. They create the number of possessions that gets them, you know, they do turn the ball over 1 out of every 5 times they touch it. It's amazing. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Most teams, 95% of the teams at any level, you cannot win doing that. They do. Why do they do that? Why are they able to do that? One reason: three-point shot. Three-point shot overrides that. Because now, then you have to ask yourself, how many of us can shoot threes at that rate? And the answer is none. You cannot. You cannot do that. So I'm telling you, this whole thing, to me, I am urging you as you recruit players, if you're a college player, coach, or if you are a high school player, don't ignore the fact. I coached high school basketball for 11 years. And by the way, it was 11 of my happiest years. I mean, I really enjoyed it. But I played with 6'3" and 6'4" white guys who couldn't jump, and they couldn't run, and they had no skill. But they could catch the ball. Now think about this. Some of you that are at maybe a level where you're not going to get great inside players. One place that a 6'4" white kid who doesn't have a lot of skills has to be guarded is right here. Now, don't worry about the lane right now. It's right here, okay? He's got to be guarded here because in most cases, if he can catch the ball, he can turn around and make a shot. Further out you put him, the less he will be guarded. Think about that. So don't disavow using this post guy who can do nothing but catch and screen. They can do those 2 things. Most time you can use them. Maybe not for 40 minutes or 32 minutes as the case may be, but you can use them. Catching the ball in here creates problems for the defense. Okay? So, as you watch the NBA thing tonight, a lot, Toronto doesn't really play Marcus Gasol, but he's shooting more threes than he is inside. Now, they can offset that by Kawhi Leonard getting the ball to right here and elevating and shooting the basket. So there's always all sorts of ways of doing that. But don't give in to just spacing the floor. I hate to see teams that play with 4 guys on the perimeter and they don't ever come inside. They never come inside. Because this is, you can say, well, it's open, they get to the rim. No, they can't. They can't. Biggest reason is because high school kids are not that good. Second of all, college players are not that good. They're just not. I coached for 43 years, and I didn't coach that many guys that I would turn loose on the perimeter with the ball and say, make a play. They just couldn't do it. I'll tell you something else. You know, everybody in the world, you watch the number of pick and roll plays that you see in this NBA Finals. Every time down the court, there's somebody setting it, and then they space like that. High school coaches, college coaches don't teach pick and roll. You don't. You say, bring that guy out and let him set the pick and he comes off. But that's all you tell him. You don't tell him how to read the screen. If the guy trails you over, you cut him off, you get to the lane, and now you make plays. Or, here comes the screen, guy goes under, you back up now, and you make the guy make a decision. He comes this way, I go that way, jump shot. He comes this way, I go that way, jump shot. Or I'm into the lane. Think about it. Do you do that? If you do, you're one of the few. Most players don't know how to set the screen. They don't know how to use the screen. They just say it. The coach just said, come up, set it. And I'll tell you one of the biggest gripes that I have. I'm asking you, if you're a college coach, and coach high school time, you still don't play with, who's high school coach? You still don't play with shot clock, do you? You do play with shot clock? No clock. You do not. Okay, so you're not affected here. Except at the end of the quarter, end of the half, end of the game. Shot clock's running down. End of the half. Clock's going down. They spread four. Guy goes in that corner. Guy in that corner. There's another guy somewhere. Put him down on the baseline. Here you are. You're out here. The shot clock's running down inside of 12. Here comes one of the post guys. Sets the screen right up here. Guy comes off. There's a double team. He doesn't know what to do. Doesn't know how we'll talk about it a little later. Doesn't know what to do. He's running for his life. And next thing you know, he heaves the ball up there like that. Of course, he's lucky if he hits the rim like I did a while ago when I threw it up there. You are better off statistically being on defense in that situation than you are on offense because coaches stink when it comes to that. They don't really tell them what to do. What you've told them is use the pick and roll and play. Let things happen. But what you refuse to recognize is they can't do it because you haven't really practiced it. You've told them what to do, but you haven't shown them what to do. And there's a big difference in that. Now, any question on that kind of thing before we get into some? Here's another thing. The most under-taught skill in all of basketball, except the NBA, and this is where they do a much better job, not because their players are better, but because their coaches understand this and they do it every day. The most under-coached element of offensive basketball is the shot fake. You watch tomorrow night the number of times that their players will catch the ball on the perimeter and there's a scramble rotation defensively. Here comes the ball. First thing they do is square. Here, that goes to 6'8" or 6'9" guy right by him. One dribble clear, and they knock it in. So whatever summer work I do with players, I start off right away with the shot fake on catching the basketball. A couple of things on the shot fake. When you catch it, obviously you guys do a good job of, your footwork and get shot, what do y'all call it? Shot ready, is that what you call it? Meaning your hands are ready, your feet are ready, and everything, you step in, you're ready to go. Okay, here goes the ball. Now, shot fakes should not be rushed. Should not be rushed. I worked with some players in Wesleyan last week, teaching them the shot fake, and they want to do this. Shot fakes must involve the ball and your head and your eyes. And it is important that the shot fake be utilized in the shot pocket. So if I'm catching it here, I don't throw it over there because he knows I'm not left-handed. So they'll close me out. If I go here, the shot fake has to be in the shot pocket. Here. Now, I don't like this, because now I can't do anything with it. I'm not going to shoot this. I've got to break it down so I'm a player, and it takes me a while to get to the rim. So the shot fake has done nothing because I really haven't shot fake. But if I get the ball here and I get here, now eyes must see the basket, because if the defender is here, he will see me as I give it that. Okay, and that's all I need, because they'll come running at you. Now you guys can teach all of this stuff all you want about closeout. All you want, the guy will still jump. 90% of the time, the guy will jump. And most of the time, he will jump there. So it's here, they'll keep coming. Now you're inside. Now you can play with the 6'3" white kid. You can play with it a little bit. Because you're inside, you're playing 5-on-4, 4-on-3, 3-on-2 even. That type of thing. So I would have drills. Now what you guys are better at than my generation is you guys are drill coaches. Man, you got drills. I go see all these fall practice, man, I'm amazed. Drills. I never thought about that. Much better at it we are. So come up with something that teaches the shot fake. And when you start your scrimmages and your live drills, make sure you have, I'd put, if I was John Thompson, I'd have, where's my, where's your assistant? Oh, yeah. I'd have him, all right. Mike, you watch the shot fakes today. If they don't do it, pull them out of there and run them, and then put them back in. Because that's something, I'm telling you, from a foul standpoint, from just an overall basketball offensive efficiency standpoint, it's a killer deal. It's a killer deal. Help you. Okay, but you have to learn how to do it the right way. All right, any questions on that? Okay. All right, let me talk about a couple of 2 or 3 things. I'm going to treat you like I did my team the first day of practice. Actually, before practice began, the first day. I've always felt like the 2 most important meetings you have with your team is the first one of the year, when everybody's together and we're now family. That's important, because you set the tone for the rest of the year. And so it's important that you say the right things to them. And I tried to say the right things. I didn't always do that. Again, self-cleansing. But I heard something a couple of years ago. You guys, I think I may have said this to you last year, but it didn't hurt to replay it. As adults and as leaders, you should be very, very conscious about what you put in your brain. That is, what you think. Because what you think eventually becomes an idea. An idea that you have in your mind becomes an action that you actually end up doing, emulating something. An action eventually transfers to deeds, where you do things. And then lastly, this is where it all comes out. Your deeds reveal your character. Now those 5 things I think are important for your team, because when you look at it, I don't care who it is, but you look at it, you can trail those 5 things and say, that's who he is. And so I wanted my team always to watch, and I wanted them to understand those 5 things, but I knew those 5 things came from me and my staff. So we had to watch what we thought, because I knew that would become an idea, which would become an action, which would become a deed, which would become a character, reveal my character. So that was extremely important to me. I also, and I wrote this on the board, the first practice now, first meeting, I wrote this on the board. We cannot be all things to all people. We can't. We have to decide who we are and what we can do. That was my job to start with. I had to evaluate who we are, what we could do. Now, admittedly, sometimes that changed over the course of the year after I found out more about my team. But you got to start somewhere. And so I started with these things I know we can do. And I wrote them up, and it's almost like the basketball golden rule for Wake Forest or South Carolina, wherever I was at the time. Didn't change much. Okay? First thing is, I know we can run. We can run both ways. And as long as you run as hard as you can, as fast as you can, but yet be under control, I'm going to be okay with that. But the minute you can't run, Boogie Cousins can't run. So he ain't getting much minutes. Now, I can tell you that. Because Steve Kerr, he understands that. Boogie Cousins might be well-intended. He can't play in this series. Not many minutes. He's got a name, but he ain't got no game. We've got to have a game. He don't have one. He can't run. Got to get up and down the court. Okay? Second thing, we can transition defense every single time. Now, that's a 5-man transition defense. And I had coaches sitting over there on my bench who watched for these things. Coach, Randolph Childress didn't get back on defense. Coach, get him out. Now, you don't have to come out long, but he's got to come out. You got to be told early on, you did not transition on defense. Your man, whether he scored or not, caused a problem. That's a bad habit. You're out. I had a guy, Jerry Wainwright, sat right there. Most of you know him. He sat right beside me the first several years, and that would be his job. Like that. And if I saw somebody not block out, whatever it was, I'd tell him, get him out. And you don't have to be out more than 2 or 3 plays or a whistle. You can put him back in. But you got to come out of there. Then transition defense. It's got to be all 5 men, and you got to be going. Now, we had a certain way we wanted to do that. Ball was up. We didn't get it. None of this trade-off stuff. It wasn't none of that. It was, ball goes up, we lost possession, because that's my man. We had a rule, guard your man and one more. One more most of the time was the ball. My man didn't have it. So you got to get 5 guys back. It wasn't, and you can argue if you want on this is just my rule. I did not run 5 guys to the lane, and then we worked our way back out. We ran to our men. I wanted our people to have be on their man as the guy crossed half court. And you got to be with the guy being the car. 1 was run. 2 was transition defense. 3, no unforced turnovers. Now you're going to have 1 or 2 yard. But and I think it's a matter of record. You can. If we were any good in coaching, if we were any good as a team, it went right to this. One of the things we did not turn the ball over. Now there's a point in there where you take away creativity, and aggressiveness. But we did not turn the ball over. That is unforgiving. Now, there's a difference in unforced turnovers and forced turnovers. I don't like either one, but I like I like the forced turnover better. Unforced ones, you should never turn the ball over. So that was an important thing for us. So we didn't, we just take the guy out sometimes if we turn it over. Fourthly, we blocked out and we rebounded, and we did it with contact on every play. You've got to be a really, really good rebounding team. And you can, even if you don't have size, even if you don't have speed, even if you don't have length, you can rebound the ball. So we really went hard with that. Fifthly, and this is one that you can argue with, and you will win the argument because of the way you play now, the way the NBA plays now. I'm just telling you, I had this rule back in the mid-90s and then into the 2000s, and we would say, the game's not played that way anymore, Coach. I don't argue with you on that. I don't know if I would have this rule or not if I came back and coached. But then I had the rule of no first side jumpers. Rebound in. Two guys are running the lane, the outside lane. They get to here. Y'all space it. One on that side, one over here. The guy goes. Maybe pick and roll up there. Here. There. First side jumpers, we didn't allow, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Tim Duncan would never touch the ball. If we had that rule. If we didn't have that rule. But I would say this to you. You ain't got Tim Duncan. So it may be a little different for you. I would not argue with that. That is a rule that I would have to look at now and say, that's dependent upon who I have on my team is. If I think you really shoot the ball, let it go. That's okay. But back in those days, no. All right, now, we get into zone offense against zone, concepts against zone. Let's pause for just a second. Any questions? Look, you can say, Coach, you're full of it. This, on this particular item or whatever, you don't know what you're talking about. I ain't gonna argue with you about it. Just tell you how it was back in the day. I still have water right there in front of you.
What's that?
Isn't that my water? Or is that?
I just got it. Sure, Coach.
Oh, okay, here. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'll take anything free. Any question? Anything you want? Any comment?
Coach, I got a question. How did what was your mindset? I guess culture-wise, going into Wake Forest, and then culture-wise going into South Carolina. Did anything change for you mindset-wise into those two situations in particular?
I'm searching. I think this thing on culture, is a new. It's something. It's new. I mean, we were concerned about culture back in my day, but I don't know that we use that word. I mean, we had other words for it, other ways of describing it. I don't really know. I think I would say this to you as a coach. If somebody poses that question at you and you got to think about it, then you probably don't have a set of principles that you would like to see ingrained in your program. And you better do some thought about it. Better make some thought. Better make some plans. I mean, who among us would say pot, drugs, opioids, problems that you face that I didn't face is okay? I mean, who among you would say, well, put it this way, one of the problems that's going to really hurt the NBA, I think, and the next about 7 to 8 years is this deal of the players deciding what the team composition is going to look like. You know, who they're going to play with, who their teammates are. I mean, come on now, that ain't no good. How can that be good? When you look on the collegiate level, what is the parallel to that? Parallel to that, to me, is when you start paying players. You start paying them, the next thing you know, you got, and I'll use guys that you know their names, because these apparently were two of the greatest kids ever. Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett, whoever the equivalent of your team are to those guys as human beings now, not as players, but as human beings. You start paying them, and at some point, one of them's going to be making more money than the other one because his face is more visible. So he's worth more, so they can sell more shirts. And the other guy that's left out, now he's not real happy. And you can even say Zion Williamson and what's the white guy that missed all the shots for them? Jack somebody.
Jack White.
Jack White. He's mad now. Hey man, I come as many practices as he does. He makes this much money, I'm making that much. That's a problem. I don't know how they're going to handle that. I got a lot of respect for Jay Billis, but I differ with him on that. I do. And you guys let that go through, you got a problem. Now, it might not be a problem on Division III level, John. I don't know. And again, it might be. Could be. Down the line. I don't know the answer to all this. But I think you got to go in there, and I would tell you this, when there's a problem on the court, coaches handle it. I mean, you try to stop it, you change it. The same should be true in the locker room. If there's a problem in there, don't back away from it. Go after it. I think that's important. You got to do it your way. You got to call them in individually, tell them what's what, and move on.
Coach, you mentioned two most important games. One at the beginning of the year, what was the second?
Last one. The last meeting. You just lost, and every team in the country loses except two. One that won the NIT championship, the other one that lost the NCAA championship. I mean, you got all these other satellite tournaments, so I'm going to count them. And they're important too, like you say it. First one and your last one. Because once they walk out of the locker room, well, that last one is never the same. You can get them back for the bank, you can get them back for reunions, never the same. Yeah.